Hello everyone, Ryan here. Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo Child. It's a pretty cool documentary. I guess technically it's more of a collection of interviews, journal entries, photographs, performance clips, all having to do with the late great Jimi Hendrix. And I thoroughly enjoyed watching this. I believe I may have come across it once before, but I never really took the time to check it out. It is currently available to watch on Netflix, so if you're a big fan of Jimi Hendrix, like I am, you definitely might want to check it out if you haven't already. Of course, Jimi Hendrix, he is definitely one of my all-time favorite rock guitarists, musicians, songwriters. I would say, aside from Metallica, of course, Metallica being my all-time favorite band, but aside from them, Jimi Hendrix is definitely, for me personally, he had a big impact on my own playing, my own guitar playing. He's always been an inspiration. I guess you could say he's one of those musicians who helped inspire me to not only pick up the guitar, but stick with the guitar. So, him and Metallica, man. And this one, this documentary style movie, it is narrated by Bootsy Collins, and so it's pretty cool. It's just, while Bootsy Collins reads from different excerpts from Hendrix's different interviews and also journal entries, but also letters on postcards that he had written and sent to his family. It offers an interesting insight into not only what inspired Hendrix, but also his different views on certain things, such as creativity and songwriting, other things too, like science fiction and politics, and I guess you'd say the whole quote-unquote hippie culture that was prominent back then in the 60s. And another thing I like about, not only about this documentary, but also Hendrix himself, is that he tended to have a lot of the same opinions that I happen to have, and I feel like a lot of other people have, or had, not only back then, but today as well. And that is, when it comes to personal opinions about things like politics and war and government, in that for the most part, he believed in loving everyone, being kind to everyone, showing respect to people, obviously when they deserve it, but even when they don't deserve it, to still just respect, their opinions and ideas and thoughts, and just kind of move on, continue living your own life. So that's definitely how I tend to view a lot of things. And yeah, and another thing too that I like that is mentioned was the fact that Hendrix, he believed a lot in music, in the transformative power of music to not only unite people, but to also express certain ideas to people, and whether they're aware of it or not, it does happen. That's how I've always felt too, is that for me, like, sometimes I'm not always able to express my own opinions and thoughts and ideas in a regular conversation with someone. But if I sit down and write like a song or, or a poem or something, then I find I'm usually able to express myself a lot better. And then once I get that down on paper or some kind of basic audio track recorded, then I find that, then I'm able to, I can share it with people. And for the most part, people understand, whatever basic message I'm trying to get across. And, though, I mean, I will admit the opportunity for such a thing rarely presents itself to me, but for a guy like Hendrix, I imagine that, he always had that opportunity. I mean, he played in front of thousands and thousands, probably by the end of his life, no doubt, he had already played to more than a couple million people, at least. Probably more than that, but at least more than a couple million. So yeah, and then I also like too that he, when he wasn't touring, playing shows or whatnot, he was in the studio working on new stuff, new songs, new ideas, and experimenting with different sounds and techniques. And I like that. I've always, I guess, in a similar vein, like I always like kind of done the same thing. I like experimenting with different sounds, and even though my primary instrument of choice is the guitar, I do still from time to time like messing around with other things, other instruments, other effects, and so yeah, I don't know, I guess, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who, feels like they also have some kind of strange connection to Hendrix and his music and his lyrics. But yeah, overall, I mean, I gotta give this documentary a solid 9. I'd say, like, I mean, at the bare minimum, 8.5, but definitely 9 out of 10. I guess, it's nothing really. I mean, if you're a big fan of Hendrix, I do recommend watching this. But if you already read like enough about him, I guess there really wouldn't be anything too surprising that is in this documentary. But it's still worth watching nonetheless. And I like that it includes a lot of his major performances as well, like at the Monterey Pop Festival, and obviously at Woodstock when he played the Star Spangled Banner. And I like the interview clips that are in this. I like that, you get to really see, like, how much of an introspective and interesting, awesome person he really was. And of course, then in the end, it doesn't really expand upon his death. Just briefly mentions when he passed away, and then they show a news clip, some news anchor, I don't even know who he is, but who, I guess he was one of the first news anchors to report on Hendrix's passing. Of course, he died at the age of 27, I believe. It was in 1970. And yeah, it really sucks. I mean, yeah, granted, he wasn't the first young, awesome rock musician to pass away. But yeah, I don't know. I guess for me, like, I've always felt like his death has never really been expanded on that much. And, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, all the times that I've tried to Google stuff about his death and all this conspiracy stuff comes up, and, I've never been one to, like, buy into a lot of different conspiracy theories, unless there's, like, a lot of really hard, solid evidence, proof, but yeah, otherwise, overall, Again, I recommend watching this if you're a fan of Jimi Hendrix, or even if you're a fan of awesome rock music, guitar playing. You gotta watch this. So, yeah, once again, I give a 9 out of 10. That'll do for my review of Jimi Hendrix Voodoo Child. Thanks for watching. As always, till next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.